didn't even get to cross.
In the valley at the foot of the mountain range, two travelers were slowly making their way, sent from Urim to gather information. The old man in his straw hat tried to understand why they were sent on the trail of Myonggo's squad and why there was so much secrecy surrounding their assignment. The second man was counting prayer beads and, taking a break from his activity, he suggested that instead of pursuing Yeon Hwi Jeong, they should go after the Azure Dragon squad and investigate what the warriors overlooked. The hat-wearing old man then asked what they planned to do with the one who wiped out the Dam clan. Would they capture him and send him to prison? The Grand Monk replied that everyone knew how despicable the members of the Dam clan were. They showed no mercy, and their reputation was fitting. However, they were strong in martial arts, and letting their deaths go unanswered wasn't an option. The man was genuinely surprised about who the person was that managed to exterminate an entire clan and what kind of power he possessed. The patrol elder then asked why they deviated from the squad's path and were now taking an entirely different route if their task was merely to observe and note unnoticed facts. The monk explained that there was a place the squad leader ignored, heading straight for Yun village, and it would be beneficial for them to investigate here. The men stared at the mummy-like body lying on the ground and pondered which technique might have been used on this person. They also noticed other bodies nearby and hurried to examine them as well. While the first body suggested a modified demonic technique, the second body seemed to have undergone changes from within, likely due to concoctions made by the Dam family. Looking at the huge brown monster, the monk thought that this person clearly exceeded the permissible dosage, resulting in such a transformation, and despite all his power, he met such a pitiful end. The hat-wearing elder discovered the body of the Dam clan leader and hurried to inform his companion. The sight was incredible. The men saw the condition of Chai Won and the pit in which he lay. It was evident that he made it with his own body. The Grand Monk summarized that such a retribution against martial arts masters, especially in their enhanced form, could only have been carried out by someone who improved the martial arts formula itself. The man thought to himself that Myonggo's squad was in danger because what happened to the Dam clan was unimaginable for an ordinary person. The bandits didn't want to leave the village. Hwa Yun saw what was happening and, unable to bear it, ran out into the street to her father-in-law, but it was too late. Elder Yun was still conscious, but he wanted to protect his daughter-in-law from the bandits, and all he could do was whisper an order for her to run away without looking back. Uttering these words, the man breathed his last, and the girl started crying. She couldn't believe what was happening. Nothing foretold disaster this evening, but it happened. Interrupting Hwa Yun's thoughts, the red-bearded man said that now the price for the dogs had been paid, and they could talk about the main question. Casting a furious glance at those present and stopping his gaze on the girl, the man asked where they had hidden the child. Hwa Yun looked at the bandit in fear and said there was no child. She didn't understand what he was talking about. The dogs came running from the forest and attacked the village. The bald man was furious. He said that these people didn't understand the situation, and if they wanted to lie until the end, he would help them cope with it and remember the truth. The thug ordered his partner in the white mask to take care of it. The white ghost, as this bandit was called, was to burn the village to the ground. The bandit produced a dynamite stick in his hands. He effortlessly lit the fuse and showed the device to the onlookers. Everyone fell silent, staring at the man in incomprehension. Then, the white ghost tossed the smoking sticks into the nearest house, a large, beautiful structure owned by one of the villagers. An explosion echoed, and the building shattered into small pieces. The fire leaped from beam to beam, relentless. People on the street started screaming and bustling around. They didn't understand what was happening. Who were these people who had come, killed the village head, and were now destroying their homes? Meanwhile, the bandit lit another explosive. He had no intention of stopping. He genuinely wanted to burn the entire village to the ground. Swinging, the white ghost launched the next projectile into a more distant house. Another explosion rang out, and the fire started spreading to the nearby structure. People began rushing out of the houses. Encouraged, one of the men armed himself with makeshift weapons and went to attack the saboteur. However, these men were ordinary folks, lacking the speed of a warrior. The white ghost quickly responded to the peasants rushing towards him. He drew his sword and directed it toward the attackers. A couple of sword swings, and there were no more brave souls trying to defend their homes from the invaders. The crowd exhaled in fear, watching the last of the men settle. No one wanted to die today. Hwa Yeon watched in horror as her new home burned, her people were killed, and she herself was helpless. Suddenly, the red-bearded man grabbed the girl by her hair and pulled her back sharply. He tilted her head upward so she could see his face and asked if she understood what awaited them in case of disobedience. Simultaneously, he seized her hand, deciding that physical pain would convince the girl that he had no intention of killing or sparing anyone. The bald man effortlessly, playfully, snapped the girl's index finger, and in the silence, the sound of the bone in her hand cracking was audible. Hwa Yeon screamed, experiencing intense pain. No one had treated her so cruelly before. The red-bearded man added that torture was his specialty, and if she hadn't understood yet, he would easily help her find the right answers in her mind and tell them all the information they needed. If the girl continued to resist and refused to cooperate, the next time not only her fingers would be broken. The man promised to break not only her fingers but also the joints and limbs of her and her people, slowly, one by one, ensuring they endured prolonged agony. Hwi Jeong walked through the cave where he had recently experienced a miraculous transformation. He had no idea what was happening in the village now, so he continued to contemplate how everything unfolded. The guy returned to the place where he gained his powers, stood, and pondered in complete silence. Thanks to the spirit of the cave, Hwi Jeong had gained strength and perfected his martial arts. The stone he shattered was now intact, but it didn't shimmer like it did when he first found it. The hero speculated that perhaps the artifact had used all its magic to transport him to the past, but the hieroglyphs on it still shimmered, just like that time. Hwi Jeong thought he could train here. Besides, he hadn't explored the area enough. After all, the most interesting things are always hidden. Advancing toward the stairs, the man looked at the spring, which shimmered as mysteriously as the enigmatic artifact. He wondered if the stone contributed to this glow and transferred some of its magical properties to the water. He scooped up the water with his palm and took a few sips. Its taste was delightful, but what surprised the man the most happened a few seconds later. Literally, his entire body filled with energy. He distinctly felt energy streams intertwining in his body, much like the circulatory system. The hero looked again at the spring. Just one sip of water from it gave him vigor and restored his strength. He thought of his wife. Surely, this water could heal Hwa Yeon and help many people in the village. Encouraged by his thoughts, Hwi Jeong felt powerful, with the opportunity to change the lives of his loved ones for the better. With confidence, the hero entered the cave to become stronger and realize what he had planned. Meanwhile, in the village, the bandits were trying to achieve their desired outcome through torture. Hwa Yeon, even from intense pain, refused to betray the child and kept her presence a secret. The red-bearded man was angry, considering the girl insignificant. Even when he broke all her fingers, she shouldn't make a sound, and now she screamed because of just one. Then he pulled out a bottle of a strange-looking substance from his pocket, calling it a special torture method specifically for Hwa Yeon. The bottle contained parasites known as brainworms, rarely used in the art of torture. The worms entered the person's body through the eye sockets. They were so thin and nimble that a person didn't notice how they infiltrated the brain. Then the parasites began devouring the cells of the nervous system, and the person experienced incredible pain, convulsing with every limb in the rhythm of a dance of hellish agony. The bandit approached the girl, holding the bottle up to her face, asking if she wanted to try this delicacy for the uninitiated. Hwa Yeon was horrified, and the girl didn't even have the strength to scream. She silently prayed for everything to stop. Suddenly, the red-bearded man felt a strange energy in the air and a sword kicked into his shoulder. It was unexpected for the man. Turning around, he met the glowing sword face to face, the blade right in the middle of the bandit's eyes. The red-bearded man recoiled and made a sudden leap backward, letting go of the girl, while Myung-go's sword sliced through the air. The bandit was surprised that there were knowledgeable martial artists in the village. Why hadn't he noticed them before, or were they hiding from him? However, upon closer inspection of the young man, the bandit realized he wasn't a local resident. But then, who and for what reason would someone intervene in the conflict in the middle of the night for the sake of some villagers? Myung-go was angry, suspecting that this red-bearded scoundrel was Yeon Hwi Jeong. He was ready to kill him without hesitation. Energy surrounded the boy. He released his inner strength and aimed his weapon at his opponent. The sword's edge wounded the bandit, and he recoiled in bewilderment. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments to help the new video come out as soon as possible. Have a great day.
Didn't even get to cross.